So Andrew McAfee and myself are here at the Enterprise 2 conference in San Francisco. What is it, Wednesday, isn't it? The third day of the conference.
That's right.
Yeah. You did a great keynote yesterday.
Thank you.
Just share some thoughts, and before we get into that, here's Andrew's new book, which is finally in paper.
Finally out.
Yeah, finally in Dead Trees, which is great. Do you want to say a couple of things about that before we get going talking about the conference?
Yeah, I'm just thrilled to finally have the book in print. I've signed a bunch of copies of it so far at the conference. I think if it's not available yet for immediate shipment on Amazon, it will be pretty quickly. And it's nice to see, you know, as a first-time author, it's nice to see your baby finally enter the world.
It's amazing the sort of gestation cycle of a paper book, isn't it? How long it takes to get it out.
Publishing is still a 1.0 industry in a lot of respects, and one of the things that it's going to have to do is speed up the cycle from manuscript to dead trees in people's hands, especially as the clock speed of competition and technology change just heats up. Publishing has to become a little quicker, I think.
Yeah. So let's switch gears to the conference.
Yep.
Interesting times. This is the first conference in San Francisco. It's sort of an intermediate conference, so to some degree it's an experiment. Yep. Any thoughts on you know what we've seen so far?
I always like coming here, and I'm to the point where I'm no longer surprised at hearing about a huge organization that I would have considered really kind of conservative or slow-moving, talking very publicly about how it has deployed Enterprise 2.0 tools and approaches and is doing things that it just could not have done prior to that deployment. And what's interesting is these conversations almost always consist of a high-level sponsoring executive and then a mid-level person who's actually leading the charge and doing a lot of the deployment and adoption work.
And this is one of the things we were just talking about before we hit the record on the flip camera, which hopefully will stay balanced on the fence that we have it on in front of us. There is an issue, I think, particularly with this conference around the C-suite people who are noticeably absent at this conference. Great conference for the middle-ranking guys, and great discourse about what it's like to get these systems going, which I know from the past about Sony PlayStation, how brutal that can be politically. Don't feel like we're still moving the needle with the C-suite right now. I mean, Tammy Erickson did a great keynote yesterday addressing some of those concerns.
And what's interesting is that the C-suite is interested in this phenomenon. They've clearly all heard about Web 2.0 and Enterprise 2.0. There's an assignment in most organizations to figure out what this means for us internally and do something about it. Yeah. But I share your view that the Enterprise 2.0 conference, for all of its strengths, consists of a lot of the point people, the evangelists down in the middle of the organization. What we need to do is find a venue to bring those people together with their C-suite sponsors and colleagues to really advance the deployment.
And the term I use all the time, which is, you know, really defining the business value.
Yeah.
So I think everybody at this conference is very excited with circumstantial evidence and evidence of better time management and shaving time off, you know, endlessly sending emails backwards and forwards with attachments and so on. But the tangible business evidence of rolling this stuff out more formally is I think, center stage now.
It is, and when I listen, you can pick up that evidence from the case studies. You can look at surveys that Forrester and McKinsey have done to other people, but there's a gap that you articulated in the middle, which is actually where my community of scholars and researchers can come in handy and do some fairly detailed investigations of exactly how much changes, and if things get better, how much better they get over time. It's a little bit of a sweet spot for the case around Enterprise 2.0. It's some of the work that I'm excited to do.
Yeah, so the track that Samir Patel and I are running, you know, driving business value, driving business performance is really intended to be very clearly focused on that angle. And it's great to be doing it at this conference, but and I'm doing the same thing next week in Germany.
And the value is there. I think you and I both see that. We just need to find the right ways to describe it and talk about it to get the attention of the C-suite.
To get the attention of the C-suite is exactly what I was just going to say.
Okay.
Yeah. So this audience is great, and you know we love them obviously. It's sort of our community, but there is this need to get this message in front of the people that really are controlling the big levers of power to enable the people further down the food chain to really do all this great work.
Yeah, and I think people like both you and I are in a good position to do that, and part of our work to carry that conversation to all parts of the organization.
Yeah, perfect, good. So great conference. I'm sure we'll be following up with more thoughts and concerns and so on after it. But great to see you here.
Fantastic.
And,
Thanks
well
all.
done on the book.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.